Hi everyone, it's Nat and Al, and you are listening to episode 7 of Formation the podcast. We're about to dive into all things Monaco Grand Prix, and we can't wait. How are you going?
Well, how are you?
I'm very well.
That's good. We had a great weekend actually.
We did a bit of a roller coaster of highs and lows, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But Monaco
Would you
always
agree?
throws that up
It does. It was a weird one. I leave it
so bizarre.
feeling, yeah, I think from every practice session this week, it slowly built and built, and the excitement was like just increasing with every session. After Saturday qualifying, I was buzzing. It was so thrilling to watch. It was incredible. And then it came to the race, and I was just a bit like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you agree? How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel the exact same. I was just like, obviously, Monaco qualifying day is just, top of everyone's calendar for the year.
Hmm.
It's always so exciting. And we did have such a great qualifying day, but I agree, like, we got to the race day and I was just like,
Yeah.
even though it was such a great result for me anyway.
No, it was amazing watching Lando win. I think even if you're not a Lando fan, seeing him win in
Yeah.
Monaco after all the heat he's been receiving and the bad press and everyone thinking that he's not good enough, to win in Monaco is like a big stuff you to all
Mm.
those people. And it was so emotional. I
It
think we
was
said
so emotional.
it was. I had like goosebumps watching him
Yeah.
win. It just so much emotion. Yeah, no, I was so happy for Lando, even though I'm not a McLaren fangirl like you. It
No,
was
no.
still incredible to watch. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously it was such a different race this year with the mandatory two stops that they had in place, which I'm sure we'll get right down into the nitty gritty about. But yeah, I
Let's just
think
go. What did you think?
Uh, first, I was so excited for it. I was just like, yes, it's going to like bring something different. We're going to get some action around this track that is just, historically known for not being able to overtake on. Qualifying's everything. And then all of a sudden they throw in this two-stop mandatory pit stop, and it's just like, what does that mean? And then
Hmm.
obviously in the time between qualifying and race day, everyone's throwing out all these predictions about what each team's going to do, and it could be anything. It could literally be anything. But then I think at the end of the day, it didn't do what they kind of thought it was going to do, which was the overtaking. And
Did nothing.
no, it was more frustrating than anything. That's
I
my
think
view on it.
I think it had the potential to do lots of things, but
Mm.
on its own, it doesn't. We needed a few red flags to come up
Yeah.
when some teams had pitted and other teams hadn't, because then you would have had those backmarker teams getting a free pit stop and things like that.
Yeah.
But nothing happened. We had, the yellow flags, and that was about it, really. I think as soon as we had that crash with Pierre Gasly, I thought, oh, for sure, we're going to get a
Yeah.
safety car or we're going to get a red flag or something. No, no, no. He just drove his car in pieces back to the pits.
Yeah, that wasn't safe.
Not safe at all. But yeah, I don't know. I personally think for Monaco next year, hand the points out on Saturday, and on Sunday, celebrate, relax, go on one of those yachts, have a drink, and just chill because nothing happened
That's a
in the
great
race.
strategy. You should put that in an email.
Yes, points on Saturday, party on Sunday for Monaco 2026.
Yeah. I guess the good thing about it was that we were watching the race, and as we're watching the race, we were just waiting for something to happen. We were waiting for
Yeah.
someone to pit. We were waiting for someone to do the undercut. We were just constantly waiting and waiting and waiting
Hmm.
for a red flag. We were waiting. And so I guess that's in that sense, it kept it interesting. Yeah.
Do you think because we did have such high expectations that when nothing happened, it was even more of a disappointment? Or do you think it was just a disappointment regardless?
Oh, I just think all round disappointment.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We're on the same page with this one then.
Yeah. When Mercedes didn't do anything in the first couple laps, I was like,
Do anything? Mercedes,
at
did they
all.
do anything the whole weekend?
No, I was so devastated about this. Yeah, no. I think the only thing George did end up doing was he just decided to completely throw everything and just go, well, this is going nowhere, so let's just go even further with it.
Oh my goodness, George. That was like George at his peak anger, which he still was like so calm, cool, and collected on the radio. Um, yeah, but when he was stuck behind Alex, you could just see him getting so frustrated. And they were saying like most drivers were holding the pack up, but Alex was literally going like 8 seconds a lap slower, braking really hard into the braking zones. And it is dangerous at the end of the day,
So
especially when all the
dangerous.
cars are following so close. When you're
Yeah.
going to brake heavy into those braking zones, like what do you expect as well?
Yeah, no, it was just very, very interesting.
All right, so where should we start? Practice sessions. First practice, when I don't know how many laps we were into it. Lance Stroll doesn't move out of the way for Charles. Charles goes straight up his rear end, and the front wing comes off.
Yeah, yeah,
Thinking
yeah.
this is not a good start for Charles. This is not
No.
gonna end well. Yeah, Lance just doing Lance things.
I know, and it's so frustrating, and it's something that I'm constantly like looking at, right? When especially on a track like Monaco, oh, those blue flags, I would be so stressed if I was someone waving those blue flags, by the way. Like, it would just be like such a stressful job. But obviously, that, like, do you feel like that was a communication issue between Lance and
No, he
his
was
engineer?
told. He just said he didn't hear.
Oh, did he? See, I missed
Yeah, he was
that.
like, oh, I
I
didn't hear
completely
you.
missed that.
Yeah, no, it was yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so it was Lance doing
It
Lance Stroll
was
things.
yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I think you might be getting confused with the Lewis Hamilton
that as
communication
well.
issues.
Yeah,
They were miscommunication. Lance was
yeah.
told and he just said he didn't hear. But like if we heard from TV in Australia, pretty sure he heard on his radio. Um, but yeah, it was just a wild weekend until the race,
It really
really.
was. So I think, if we're going to just talk on free practice just in general, maybe,
Mhm.
obviously, like Charles coming out on top constantly, like you must have been so excited about that because even
I
I was so
was.
excited.
And even Lewis, like he wasn't topping the times, but he was up there.
Oh,
He
yeah,
was
they're
up there.
fastest,
Yeah, I
pretty
thought, oh,
much.
Ferrari is back,
Yeah.
baby. But yeah, it was good. It was really good. And Lewis's outfits all weekend, just on point. He got
Mate,
his mojo back.
mate, we posted that one on our stories, and
We
then the
did.
next day he just came out all guns blazing. I was like, oh
The
my
three
God.
piece, the 3-piece cream suit. What fabric was that?
Cheers, I don't know. Whatever it is, it was amazing. I want it.
Just bury me in that fabric.
Sold, sold. Put it on my
Yes,
body.
literally. No. Yes, Lewis as well, just reminiscent of the old Lewis,
Yeah.
walking into that paddock like he owns the place. And I think it definitely translated to his performance on Saturday for sure.
Yeah.
Because before he got that grid penalty,
Yeah.
he was doing really well. So
Yeah, he was doing good. Who else? I
sure.
think the Red Bulls struggled a little bit with.
Max made a comment at one point. He said that he felt like he was driving a Formula One car from 1978.
He did.
GP's like, all right, Max, get on with it. That's
Yeah,
enough.
yeah. Cut it out.
Although at the end, when Max like held out because he had such a gap to do his pit stop, when he held out, I was like, of course there's going to be a red flag just to spice it up. Of course there is, and he's going to win this thing.
No, I was extremely stressed about that.
Yeah, that was the most stressful thing in the race. I think my blood
Yeah.
pressure was at its peak during those final laps. That's for sure. All
Love it.
right, so let's talk about qualifying.
Yeah.
Because it was very impressive from Lando Norris putting in the fastest lap, setting a lap record, which is probably never going to be beaten again because the cars are changing next year and they're not going to be as fast. So, yeah, go Lando. Pretty cool.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. That was just a magic lap. So they went out early in Q3, the McLarens.
Yeah, they
They
did.
didn't end up holding back and they got 2 laps in. I was really surprised that obviously like he did hit that lap after already getting such a good one. So
When Charles beat him on his first lap in Q3, I was like, oh my gosh, is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? But no, he just going purple, going purple. I was like, oh my God, he's going to do it.
yeah,
Like, incredible. Such a good lap.
yeah.
It was
And what
epic.
was it though? It was like,
110?
yeah,
Was it a sub 110?
very, very impressive from Lando.
I was really surprised with Oscar. Like, obviously still qualified really well, P3. But last year he had Lando covered in Monaco. He qualified P2. And this weekend, he was slipping and sliding and all over the road. I thought, oh my gosh, Oscar's going to put it into the wall
Yeah.
because, yeah, just he kept giving us little,
He made best friends with that wall this weekend.
kept
He
kissing it.
was just like,
Kiss
hey,
here, kiss there.
hey. I was like, oh, stop sliding out. I know
Yeah,
you're not doing it on purpose, but come on.
I know. I
Stressing us
know.
out.
That
But
was
yeah,
so
you know,
funny.
first sector for Oscar was his quickest, and then Lando was just getting him in the second and third sector. So,
Which I
again,
think comes down to a bit of time management because the first sector, if you really used a lot of your tire up,
yeah,
it was detrimental in the second and third sectors. So
yeah, okay,
Oscar was just smoking that first sector, that by the time it come to sector 2 and 3, he just didn't have the same rubber left as Lando did on his tyres.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, still like awesome qualifying session for both the boys. Strategy worked perfectly. Doing those 2 laps really let them build that confidence up to really go for it on that last lap.
yeah.
Maybe taking a bit of inspiration from Max Verstappen a few weeks ago when he did the double lap in Q3 as well. So it was
Yeah.
really good to see.
So good. Any other standouts from qualifying? I think for me, anyway, it was so great to see Liam Lawson
Finally.
finally doing something good, and
Yeah.
also out qualifying Yuki as well. So
And just so random that Liam decides to, do his best qualifying in Monaco. Like, what?
where did that come from?
I had no idea. I literally thought he was going to be on a really slow downward spiral and his boot from Red Bull has just gotten to him. But no, he just whips out this lap from nowhere and he's in Q3 and yeah, wild. Just showing us more and more that the second
Yeah,
Red Bull seat is definitely cursed.
yeah, sticking to our guns on that one.
Yeah, no, it was really good to see both of the racing bulls into Q3. And I think, moving forward to the race, getting
Oh,
their best ever career finishes in the same race, just epic, epic,
so
epic,
good.
epic.
They were an absolute standout for me the whole weekend because they were just really out there. Their strategy was phenomenal
They were the
throughout the
first ones
race.
to do the teammate strategy, weren't they?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
I
And
think,
so it was mainly Lawson. He was like controlling the tempo to make sure that Hadja could pit without losing any track position. But the pit stop timing was great. The tyre management was great. They started on a great foot because of where they qualified and all under such pressure. It was so, yeah, it was just really, really great driving from them.
on all fronts, like you said, they didn't put a foot wrong all weekend. When you
Yeah.
do qualify a bit further up the grid, you do have more options with your strategy. So definitely hats off to them.
Yeah.
And I think by them starting that little strategy of building that gap so the teammate could pit,
Yeah.
the other teams quickly cottoned onto it. In the beginning, James Vowles had a bit to say about it. And then a few laps later, what are Williams doing? The exact same thing.
Exactly.
So, which was quite funny. And it was
Yeah.
like James was battling with his internal monologue of, is it the right thing to do? Is it ethical? Should I do it? Should I not? At the
Yeah.
end of the day, it was the only way that both Williams boys were going to finish in the points.
Yeah.
And you have to do what you have to do when you're handed a very strange double pit stop mandate for the Monaco GP.
Absolutely. And they did well. They did well indeed.
They did. So, yeah, which brings us to Williams, both boys. Finishing in the top 10 again, double points for Williams. Just crazy
They're
to
slowly
think
becoming
about where they
like,
were last year and where they are now.
absolutely.
Just baffling. Anything you want to say about Alex Albon.
I mean, we already touched on it earlier. I guess, so he did frustrate me that little bit, holding people up, but, you know, it is what it is. It's the hand they were dealt. So that's the strategy they went with, and yeah,
It worked.
it did work.
I did love how afterwards George, quite angry, in the press conference after, he was alluding to the fact that they were having dinner that night because they are good friends off the track.
Yeah.
And he said, Alex better pick up the bill. And then on Instagram later, there's a photo of both of them. Alex definitely picked up the bill. So,
Yeah. And even Alex made like a cheeky little comment. It was like, I'm just taking you through a drive-through.
Big Macs only.
Yeah. The humour this weekend as well was elite.
Yeah, it was good.
I was super upset for Alonso.
I know.
Yeah, that was
It was
just...
looking like he was going to get his first points of the season, and good points as well. He was running in
I
fifth or
know.
sixth. And
Papa.
and you know, he'd done over half the race.
Yeah, it's just bloody gut-wrenching. And as he said, whenever he said it a couple of races ago, last race, whenever it was,
Yeah.
he is the most blipping unlucky driver there is.
You just couldn't ride it. Gosh, you know, in qualifying, I even thought, Alonso on the podium, maybe, you know, you never know. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
But no, Aston DNF, just the poor thing. That was horrible.
Yeah.
And then we had Lance, on the other hand,
Strolling
nowhere.
through.
Yeah, poor thing.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if we're going to talk about the 2 pit stop strategy and, you know, who it worked for and who it didn't work for, I definitely don't think it worked for like your Red Bulls, your Alpine, Aston, but then it worked really well for others. So your Racing Bulls, McLaren, really.
All the teams you mentioned that it didn't work for are the ones that qualified really far apart.
Yeah.
So they couldn't, you know, help their teammate out to build that gap.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas, you know, when you've got two strong drivers and you're qualifying really close to each other, you do have options, which is, I think, what Red Bull are trying to find for Max, someone to help him win the championship, but they just can't find anyone.
Like Christian actually said that when they were on the grid, Martin was just asking him about the strategy, what they're going to do, and he's flat out said like Yuki's just too far away from Max to make any difference. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Which is a blessing and a curse. You know, you've got arguably the best driver ever on your team. So to find someone remotely close to him is going to be difficult in itself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, blessing and a curse, but it is what it is. Max still put in a really great race, gave himself every opportunity to win.
Yeah.
But there was no red flag, and it was what it was. So, P4.
Yeah, P4 for Maxi. This 2 pit stop rule was quite new. Do you know a little bit about what happened if they didn't pit and what the penalty was? Because I'm pretty sure it was just a fine, right?
Well, Martin Brundle was saying that it was a 30-second penalty, but I think it's a 30-second penalty when they don't pit because they can't, whether the race is red flagged and then called off or a reason out of their control. If they don't do the pit stop on purpose, I think they just get disqualified from the race.
Oh, it's a disqualification.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So there was no chance that Max was not going to pit. He just said he hung it out to the last moment in the hopes that something may have happened, which I think also is why he was driving so slow at the front, backing up Charles, Lando, and then Oscar in the hopes that, you know, they trip over each other and something happens there, and there you go. Max wins the race because...
I wasn't 100% sure on that. So, you know, when Max was holding out, I was like, is there a possibility that he's actually just going to throw it and not take that pit and take a pen? I just thought it was like a fine or...
disqualification.
Yep, great.
And he still would have finished in the same spot.
Yeah.
That's how big the gap was.
Yeah, right.
Between him and Lewis.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Yuki he didn't qualify well, but also his strategy. Why did they pick him so early? Why? Never go first. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, he was straight in. It was just really interesting. He went in, but then I think there was another four very close behind him. And you would pit them because you want to take advantage of the clean air. Like, that just wasn't going to be the case. So, yeah, I don't know what the thinking was behind that.
Yeah, I think maybe just run an alternate strategy. There's nothing to lose. We'll just see what could happen when you're racing out of the
Yeah.
points. Maybe if you do something different, it might pay off later on, but you are banking on a red flag, which in
Yeah.
Monaco is highly probable. It just didn't happen this race. So, yeah. So that was Red Bull. What about Ferrari?
Oh, Ferrari.
A few times in those last few laps, I did think there was the slightest chance Charles was going to do something crazy to try and get around Lando.
Really?
I did because he was at home and like he said, like if it's not first, it's nothing. It's not good enough. And I thought if there's any race he'll try something crazy, it's at Monaco to get that win.
Yeah.
He's probably got Fred in the back of his mind going, we need the points, don't do something stupid. Because if he took himself out, there's 18 points just flushed down the toilet.
Oh,
But
100%.
I
And it's so
reckon there was
easy
a
to
little,
do.
yeah, I reckon there's a little part of him that wanted to just do something crazy, like just whatever, just dive bomb it and just see what happens.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He was very composed,
He was very
and yeah,
composed.
he drove a great race as well. But yeah,
He responded quite aggressively, I think, around that first stop to Lando, but then they obviously just missed the undercut window as well.
what about Lewis this weekend?
Other than serving looks.
Serving looks. I felt so bad for him when he got the penalty after qualifying
Yeah.
because it was not his fault. It was his engineer's fault.
Yeah, that
Tell
was.
the man who's coming, when they're coming, what lane they're in.
And just
they
tell them that
close?
they're there. Like,
Yeah.
just say someone's behind. Like, it's just, I didn't even know how that was a penalty, to be honest. Like, it's just unfair.
It's unfair for Lewis, but it is a team sport, and I definitely think they deserve the penalty because it could have been a big crash, and they need to know that it's just not good enough. They need to lift their game.
Yeah.
But I just think, Lewis deserves better.
Lewis always deserves better.
Yeah. Is his race engineer getting spoken to after the race? Is he getting pulled up? Because even in the race, there are a few questions Lewis asked, and it's like, be direct.
Yeah.
They're driving this car on the limit, about to crash into walls.
Yeah.
Just give one-word answers, direct answers. Answer the question at hand. He wants to have a chat about what tyres every driver's on, who's where. He just asked, am I a minute behind? And the race engineer's giving him a play-by-play of every overtake that Charles is trying to get on Lando. Like, relax. And just tell him, yes, you are, or no, you're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously not Lewis's fault, but
Yeah.
he's the one that cops it in the end. Not fair.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Actually, if drivers get so many penalty points on their license, they miss a race. If his engineer can't lift his game, maybe
Does he get the same?
They should make him sit out a race or something and trial someone else.
That's true.
Bono,
That's a
come
great
back.
idea. I'm sure they just, as we said right from the beginning, they just need to keep up with their couples counselling, work out their issues, and they will be singing the same karaoke song very soon, I'm sure.
I think Bono's probably missing Lewis just as much as Lewis is missing him at the moment because, it was not an ideal race for Kimi either.
Poor Kimmy.
Not the weekend he needed.
No, but again, it proves our point in terms of what we spoke about last week, that he is a rookie and we need to keep it front of mind that he's learning as well. It's going to happen. The crash wasn't great. He is a rookie and these are the mistakes that they make, but that's just only how they grow. So we just need to always keep that front of mind that, yes, he's still learning, he's still going through it, and he's going to have these hiccups, unfortunately, and then obviously just extreme double bad luck for Mercedes with George then having an engine failure in Q2. So yeah, definitely not ideal for Mercedes in the qualifying when I thought and I predicted that George Russell was going to be on pole.
I know we definitely jinxed our predictions. We jinxed the drivers this week. With George's engine failure happened in the tunnel when those marshals were pushing his car out. The camera angle on that car was hilarious. It was so funny. And then it's like they were getting puffed out, so they sub in for the next team and then they keep running.
I know. It's like, you guys, you take over. We
I
got to go
know.
back to our post.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Like, coming out of the pits is automated now. So many things are automated. But no, getting the car out of the tunnel, we need human legs to run
Yeah.
that car back to
Roll
where
it
it
out.
belongs.
Real MVPs.
They
Yeah.
definitely are.
Yeah. That tunnel gives me such anxiety.
I know, especially those 2 seconds where the light changes and you literally cannot see anything. It's like, how do they do that? How do they just hope for the best?
No wonder Russell just went, bugger this, Albon's
I
right
know.
there.
I know. It was just wild. And yeah, I think for Mercedes as a whole, the weekend is just one to forget.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what a challenge for them. Just
Yeah, not good.
both
Not good at all.
drivers finishing outside points.
And did you see the pictures of Toto and James after the race apparently having words?
Yeah, out the window.
Yeah, do you think Toto's kicking himself now he didn't do the same strategy?
Yeah, of course.
Although they would have
I
been
don't
out
know
of the
what.
points anyway.
Yeah, but like, did you try something?
Yeah,
They just didn't do anything.
they didn't.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, and then yeah, so the rookies, we had Kimi Antonelli not getting
Yeah.
any points this weekend.
Yeah.
We also had Colapinto just nowhere again. In all the practice sessions, he was like a second off Gasly every session.
Mm.
And I just think Flavio last weekend, he said, I've given him 3 rules, blah, 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 blah. Don't do this, and don't do this.
Yeah.
And I think that poor boy is so scared to crash now that he just doesn't drive the car like he would usually.
Yeah, okay.
I just feel sad for
it's
him.
definitely not. You wouldn't have even known he was on the track, to be honest.
Literally,
Yeah.
not at all.
And
I
we're
feel
so
so
used to
sorry for him.
his name, seeing him attack, and he's just nowhere.
No. To be a second off your teammate, that's not normal.
Yeah, no.
No.
Something's going on.
And it's not normal for him. He's usually quite good in qualifying and things
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, I just think he's so scared to put a foot wrong. Whereas, in contrast, Kimi knows he's supported, he feels safe, he's comfortable in the team.
Yeah.
He can push. And he's a rookie, so we are going to see weekends where he crashes. But it's all part of learning, where I think, Franco is just so scared to put a foot wrong because he knows how ruthless Alpine obviously are, that he's
But you
just
know
not
what?
driving.
He needs to just do it because he does not have a guaranteed seat. Like, you need to just put your foot down and just give it what you've got, because you need to just prove that you do have it. And this weekend was just the complete opposite to that.
Yeah, because even if he did put a few fast laps in and then crash, or I don't know, at least there's that data
You can see
there
the
to say,
potential, right?
yeah, because at the moment we're not really seeing anything, are we?
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully, this weekend brings something a little bit different with them.
Who else have we not spoken about? Gabby's poor crash, lap 1, into the wall.
I know.
I thought his race was going to be done.
Just went, okay, back her out.
Yep, he found reverse and kept on going.
Actually, speaking of Sauber, Nico Hulkenberg was looking pretty good
He was in
up until
qualifying.
the race. Yeah.
He was. No,
He was
what
putting
happened
in
to him?
some serious laps.
I know.
But yeah,
And
I don't know what
then-
happened, because
what happened to Nico?
There's a good chunk of the grid where I was just like, who? Where? What?
Even see them that like,
Why are they even there? Love them.
where are they?
Yeah.
They've checked out. He did make it into Q2, which was amazing for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've kind of been Q3 wonders lately.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, then we have Haas, where, Ollie Behrman.
Ollie.
He kind of has just disappeared the last few weekends, Ollie.
Yeah. He has. Troubling.
And then we have Esteban P7. Did he finish P7? Yeah, he did. P7. Good on him. And he's usually good around the streets of Monaco. But to put a Haas in P7 on merit, not because of a red flag or because of a safety car or anything like that. Like, good on him.
Yeah, that's actually really good. Forgot about that.
Everyone was questioning whether he was going to even have a seat. And here he is, P7. So good on him.
Did you actually, now that I'm looking at the standings, Bortoletto actually finished at 14th above Hulkenberg
In the race?
in the race?
No.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, yes, because he did. He did 2 really early pit stops and then that was it. He was done. Wild scenes, just crazy. Yeah. So what else happened?
Much.
The top three, like in the cool down room after, it was just like a nice guy podium. Do you
I
agree?
know.
It's like three nice guys on the podium.
They were just also happy to be there, a bit
They
jovial,
were,
a bit like, let's gather around and see what happened.
yeah.
And then when they see Lando locking up on the first corner, Oscar was so funny, his reaction to that. He's like, I thought you were in the wall. And I was like,
He was so energetic.
what do you mean? And he's like, he's just doing these like,
Yeah, it was like good to see the banter between them.
good combo, I would say.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. So many wholesome family moments with Lando and his parents.
I cannot deal with Lando's mum. I want her as my second, third, fifth mother because I've got so many mothers of my own, but I will adopt her as my own because she's awesome.
It was so beautiful. And I think she was at his race in Melbourne as well, and he won. She's in Monaco and he won. I
The
think
good luck charm.
Yes, Lando needs to make sure his mom is at every race because obviously when she's there, something happens.
Love his mum. I love his dad. I love seeing them together. I love his face when he sees them. Like, they're just so awesome. There's something about her that I just love this woman. She's so, like, whimsical almost.
Yeah.
You know that she would make a great cup of tea and it, like...
It's from scones.
Yeah. I just
Or like you would walk into their house and you would feel at home.
Exactly.
If
Like,
person was a home, it's Lando's mum.
yes, it
That's
is.
how she comes across.
She is like the teapot cozy.
Yeah, literally, she is.
Just like a warm hug.
And his dad's like, "Quick, let's go! Like we need to make the podium." It was just so cute. It was the best ever. I think we all can see your own mum and dad in their interactions. It reminds you at the end of the day that they're human.
Yeah.
There's someone's son, there's someone's brother, there's someone's sister. Like, yeah, it shows you the real human element because we look at them and put them on this pedestal and they seem untouchable. But in that moment, you're like, no, they're just a person and they've just achieved something amazing and their parents are just so proud. It was really good.
So nice.
So yeah, Lando, lucky charm, bring your mum to the next race.
Yeah, bring her to Barcelona. Wipe out her calendar for the rest of the year. She's coming.
Yeah, sorry.
I mean, maybe, okay, I guess you can have it this year. Don't knock Oscar off, please.
Oh no, I don't know. It's hard. I think obviously there's 3 points in it now going into next week. I love how like last week Oscar's running away with the championship. This week there's 3 points in it again. It's just crazy this season. It's just wild.
Love it. We love every
so
second.
Good. Yeah. It is. But 3 points in it. I just think, is it Lando's year? What do you think?
I can't. You can't make me choose between my children.
We'll see what next week brings.
Yeah, we'll see. I think we'll know definitely in the next couple of races. Stress.
So, I'm just going to put it out there because I feel like we always say this. We put it into the universe. It might happen.
Mm-hmm.
Monaco, 26, 27. You want to go?
What? We're going.
Let's go.
Okay, let's go. So you prefer the yacht side or balcony side?
Maybe we do balcony side for quali and then yacht for the race because if it's boring, we'll have a few drinks, chill in a pool or something. What do you think?
Love the vision. Let's do it. Okay, cool. I just got to put some annual leave in for that.
In your diary.
It's in my diary.
Seriously, that would be like a dream. Maybe one day.
Yeah, absolutely. Like
a girl can dream.
And these girls do dream. Dream on, sister.
So
great idea.
Exactly. All right. So next week, last race of the triple header, Barcelona.
Yes, how exciting. I'm not going to lie. The, late night watch parties are starting to get to me. But okay, Natalie, we're in Barcelona. What are you saying?
Some sangria, some pinchos.
Yes.
A bit of paella.
That's a great idea.
Or do you mean the rest?
We always turn it into food.
Food first.
But I will also be having paella. Absolutely will. Why not?
Lovely.
But yes, in terms of the race, who are you thinking for pole?
Fast track, one of the fastest
Mm-hmm.
on the calendar. I'm going to go for a Max Verstappen pole.
Do, 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 do.
Max Verstappen pole.
Okay.
What are you
Love to
thinking?
see it. I'm sticking to my guns and I'm thinking that I'm putting Oscar in pole.
Okay.
Yeah. I might play it safe this week.
No, no Delulu.
You haven't heard my piece yet.
Okay. Love it. Love it.
All right.
For the
Who are you going?
podium, I'm going to go with a Max Verstappen win. So, yeah, Max P1, I think Lando P2, and I'm going to say Lewis Hamilton P3.
My goodness. I think I fed you my
Because
Delulu
my boy,
potion.
I've been sipping whatever you've been drinking, and I'm a bit cuckoo. And Lewis Hamilton P3 because I just want him on the podium
Yeah.
and I just want some results.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
I totally get that.
if I keep doing it, sooner or enough, it's going to have to happen eventually.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's my thinking behind it.
Okay. I like that. That's actually such a great lineup.
It is. Thanks.
And so for me,
Gold star for me.
I am going to go Oscar converting to a pun.
Mm-hmm.
I am saying that Lando is still going to be up there because the McLarens are fast. But I'm also putting, oh my God,
You're
George
going to
Russell.
put some rookie. Go on.
No, it's
Put Nico
George.
Hulkenberg.
No, I'm not. George, it's George. It's George. If I keep saying it, it'll happen. George.
All right, George.
Yeah.
George P3. All
George
right.
B3.
See what happens.
Boom,
Yep.
boom, boom.
We're probably going to get none of those predictions right because we never do.
We
But
never
we
do,
like
but
to
it's
play.
got to be in it to win it.
Exactly right. All right. Well, thanks for sticking with us.
Yes, thanks for joining us on this episode of Monaco. We are so excited to go to Barcelona next week. This week, actually. It is already
Yep.
this week. Triple header. It's going to be the last one of the triple header. So we'll have a little break afterwards. But again, thank you so much for listening, watching, wherever you're tuning in to us. We really appreciate it. Thank you to all our new followers because we have so many new followers that have joined in the last week. We love to see you there. Interact with us as much as you like or want. And we'll catch you at the end of this week.
Love you all. See you later.
Ciao, ciao.
Adios.
Adios.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, you know the emoji?
Yes. Maybe we should wear red next week
Red.
for Barcelona
Yes.
and for Ferrari. All right.
Adios.